Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Home Alone 3. And this is not a Christmas movie. I just found out. So, yeah, I figured it. I mean, yes, it takes place in wintertime near Christmas. The decorations are up at some houses. That's the only reference to Christmas that's made whatsoever. Nobody's trying to get to a Christmas recital. Nobody's trying to get to a special vacation on another country or another part of the U.S. for the holidays. It is literally about a kid who's left home alone with the chicken pox while his brother and sister go off to school, and their mom and dad tries to catch a flight, and has to go to work, and he's left to his own devices, and he has many, many, many devices. He also has a babysitter that they call in just for emergencies. Also, a cranky old woman across the street is helps out, but and she's kind of the start of this whole problem here. First of all, before we get into the story, this is from 1997, and it's an hour and 42 minutes long. This is not a Kevin McAllister show, if you don't already know that. It's 1997. It's 5 years later after this. Kevin would be 15 at this point. He's probably a whole lot harder to lose at that point. So uh, it does still take place outside Chicago in a fancy neighborhood. But Alex D. Linz plays Alex Pruitt, and he's 8 years old, like the original Kevin in the first Home Alone. And he's a little inventor. He makes all these Rube Goldberg machines that sort of feed his fish, and he makes all sorts of things. He has a stack of Popular Mechanics magazines that he likes to read. So he's a smart kid. He's inventive. That's very much established from the beginning. Um, but actually, the very beginning of this movie starts off in Hong Kong. It's it's an international affair, and apparently these criminals have stolen a computer chip that's from the U.S. Air Force that is meant to go into a missile that anybody who has this chip can then take over the world. So the stakes are pretty high. It's kind of a big deal here. Somehow it ends up in little Alex's hands. The woman across the street from him that he shovels her lawn, or he shovels her driveway, not her lawn. That would be dumb. Shovels her driveway, and she's mostly mean, but she's coming back from Hong Kong. Apparently, she's an international traveler, and her package gets switched with the four criminals who are tasked with smuggling this into the U.S. or smuggling it to wherever they're supposed to be going. Well, yeah, they're supposed to go somewhere, but they realize that once the packages are switched, they find out who it was and they hunt her down in the airport. Or they follow her all the way to Chicago, and they hunt her through the airport there in O'Hare, and like there's a whole humongous sequence that has our star not anywhere near it. We first see him shoveling snow after she's gotten home, or just soon after she's gotten home, and so yeah. Then the criminals, the four of them, three men and a woman. So we got double the amount of people hunting children in this movie than there were in the first one. Just Marv and Harry, they were bumbling goofs. They're just burglars. They just break into homes and steal stuff. These people are like international spy assassins. They've got all these guns. One guy's carrying a shotgun to kill a child. It's just, I mean, come on. It's really a little unnerving, the amount of what they'll go through. So to get this microchip back from a child, because it's about halfway through the film that they realize that they are dealing with just a child, and at the same time, Alex gets the idea that he's going to protect his neighborhood. He makes a decree to his rat that he's a white rat that he talks to named Dolores, and so he makes a decree that he is going to save his community from these burglars that he sees are just burglars. He doesn't realize that they're international assassin, you know, hitmen, I don't know, smugglers, whatever they are. They're one guy is internationally wanted, at least one of them. The rest of them are his lackeys, and they each have their own personalities. One is very, I don't know, uptight, very by the numbers. Very, he's not very. He's almost like a robot. The other guy has got long hair, and he thinks of himself as a little bit suave. And then there's a woman who she must have been a gymnast at some point. They all have some sort of vague accents, and even their names are a bit. I don't know. Like here, these are the. By the way, not the character names, but the actor names. Oleg Krupa, Uriah Kilistet, Larry Von Dolan. Okay, well that's Larry, and then David Thornton. I mean, these are the four people who are tasked with killing a child, or actually getting a microchip, getting a computer chip back. That's about size of two saltines or so, maybe smaller. But yeah, they've picked the right time. They go house to house, and by the way, Alex, he sees these. He has a telescope. He has all these gadgets. He can remote control the TVs in everybody else's houses from anywhere within sight of his bedroom. Apparently, he also has a very big bedroom with many windows, with lots of different vantage points, so you can see pretty much everything. It's a big house. It's this. So he gets in people's business, but when he sees that it looks like somebody's house is being broken into, he calls the cops. The cops go, "We didn't find anybody. You're just crying wolf." Okay. Next day, he sees somebody breaking into the next house. Calls the cops. Dad has to come back from the airport. Mom has to come home from work. Everybody's freaked out. The kids, his brother and sister treat him like crap. They're just like, "You're an idiot. You keep calling wolf." The cops are never going to come talk to you ever again because they think you're lying. And guess what? Yeah, they do it again a second time. So when it comes to the third time, when things really ramp up, when suddenly everybody realizes who they're up against, he doesn't call the cops, and he's not about to. And yeah, it gets a little intense. By the way, some of the similarities to the original film. This is not directed by Chris Columbus, but it is still written by John Hughes. The iconic creator of Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and all those Molly Ringwald films where all the psychedelic furs are singing, all those films. Yeah, so it's there's and Alex has a really hot red-haired mom, just like Kevin. So I don't know. They must be keeping with a theme with that. I'm not sure what else. But by the way, the biggest star in this film, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson. She's all of 12, maybe 13 in this movie. So you don't even realize. I saw that she was going to be in the film, and I didn't realize how old she was or anything else. And suddenly she just turns around and I'm like, "Oh crap, that's Scarlett Johansson. She's 12." I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So yeah, the biggest star at this point. Nobody knew that she would be the biggest one in this entire movie. So it's kind of neat. It's to see her as a kid and literally getting not even close to the top bill in this movie. She is literally nobody in this movie. So she has only a few scenes, but yeah, she does stand up to government officials at one point. So that's a little Black Widowish, if you think about it. Yeah, so we get, when it comes down to the story, I've told you most of it, and it's not like you didn't have it figured out already. It's a kid besieged by terrorists at this point, practically, or assassins, and he creates all these elaborate, impossible, and unlikely booby trap scenarios that you'd have to obviously they're going to come through this door, they're going to go that way, and they're going to sit down in that chair and get electrocuted, or they're going to do all these things. He has figured out how these guys are going to try to enter his home, which, by the way, just like the last one, is being renovated. So any destruction that he causes to happen in the process of trying to kill these people that are trying to get him. It's negligible. It gets taken care of. It's not a big worry. They were fixing it up anyway. Like, he does actual construction work at this point. He's blowtorching stuff. I don't know. He's carving up the floor with saws and taking away huge planks. He And by the way, there's a storm coming, so snow is covering everything else up. So he has a way to like move an entire swimming pool. He doesn't actually, but he makes it look like he has moved a swimming pool in order to create one of the best pranks, one of the best booby traps of the entire thing. They are good booby traps. They are really cool. Some of them are really funny. There's a big sequence. There's also it had to be unintentional. It's not like he would have known it was going to be like this. But he sends Dolores off to crawl up this guy's pants. And it literally sits in this open hole pocket below his junk. And, of course, the woman assassin sees this mouse sort of just hanging out there below this guy's junk. And so she gets Scarlett Johansson's, the big sister, gets her field hockey stick and just whacks the guy full on in the mouse, in the rat. But the rat gets away, of course. Then there's a parrot that has a really wide vocabulary. Yes, it's somebody overdubbing a voice, singing Bad Leroy Brown and everything else. So it's these animals are giving a little bit more credit for understanding the English language and plotting against villains much better than most animals. So again, this is a kid's film. It's meant to be silly and funny and just over the top, and it does that beautifully. Is it the best Home Alone movie ever? By the way, there might be 4 or 5 or something like that. They're not on Disney Plus. I don't know where they are. They were like TV movies or something. And yeah, they're not. I just found out when I was researching this that those exist. So yeah. Now, is this the best Home Alone? No. Is it completely different than the other ones? Not completely, but it's enough that it feels enough like a reboot that you might still be able to enjoy it if you can handle the loss of Macaulay Culkin and Catherine O'Hara. So there's some moments I laughed out loud, but it's lowbrow humor. It's just goofy stuff. And when you see these supposedly suave international spy assassins getting totally owned by an 8-year-old, it's kind of almost more satisfying to see that than seeing Marv and Harry get nailed repeatedly in the face with bricks. Now, nobody can match Marv's scream. There's nobody that comes to match Daniel Stern's scream. So, we miss out on that. But these 4 actors go through a ton of just mud and gunk and everything else, just all sorts of torture, and somehow survive. They should have died multiple times over. Once again, this is a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Roadrunner, meet me, Wile E. Coyote. it's not supposed to be realistic, but it's fun. It's all right. It's you're not going to go away from this going, oh my gosh, that was the greatest Home Alone, the greatest movie ever. No, but little kids might appreciate it. About Alex's age, 8-year-olds will be like, It might also inspire them to create booby traps and torture their family, but hopefully not, and call the cops a lot when they think something is wrong. Hopefully not. So be careful with that. Watch your children closely after you watch this movie, if you have children. So, other than that, oh my gosh, I completely forgot what tomorrow's is. I'm going to look it up here. I had it all set up, ready to go. I'd have to run to the other room because this is planned. The next few days are planned if you haven't been paying attention. Come on. I'm on. There we go. Oh, yeah. We're going to see a Disney holiday special. It's the Magical Holiday Celebration. So, look that up. It's under the holiday section. If you. Yeah, it's a Home Alone set. Under the Happy Holidays section on Disney Plus, you can see this. This is what we're going to watch next. This blank black screen. No, here we go. The Magical Holiday Celebration. So I'll see you back here tomorrow with that on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge.